So if you're watching live, you're probably going, hey, where's that fancy theme music I've been hearing for a while? Well, I would like to play that for you, but when I got down here, I have Windows 10 tablet I use as my soundboard. I started up, it goes, hey, we're at 5% battery. I go, oh, crap. I guess I should plug this in, but it makes no sense because I was at 65% battery last week when I turned it off. Well, evidently, it's updated itself, and it doesn't like the update, so I'm stuck in a cycle right now. I'll bring it up and show. If you're watching the live video, yeah, I'm stuck at working on an update. It was at 100%, and now magically it's back on 20%. Right before the show, it does this to me. Seriously, I'm cranky about it. So, for that reason, no soundboard this week.
I love the idea that you said they're mandatory on Windows 10. That's awful.
Yeah, so
because Windows updates break so much shit.
Yeah,
the idea that you can't choose whether or not to download them is shitty.
Yeah, if you weren't familiar with Windows 10, unless you have the professional version, Windows updates are mandatory. It does it whenever it decides to. Whereas if you're on the professional version, you can be like, no, I don't want to update yet. I don't want to update yet. And it lets you make that call. So a combination of Windows updates and having probably a crappy Windows 10 tablet, but good enough for a soundboard, has made it so you guys get no live sounds this week. They'll all be edited in post, which makes me crankier because I have to edit more now. Go me!
But you'll have plenty of extra time because we're going to do a short podcast because everything is fucking broken. My internet signal sucks. The Chromebook is pathetic.
And Naki's internet doesn't even work. That's why Naki's not here this week. So literally like 15 minutes before the show, she goes, uh-oh, my internet's out. And she has no internet currently. Anthony, I was sitting there talking to him in the pre-show, and then there was a stretch there where every other word he would say would just freeze. And I'd get a blank screen, and I'm going, oh, shit.
So if I'm not coming through, I apologize.
The plus side is, if I have to do a solo podcast now, I'm not as scared of doing the solo podcast anymore since I started doing one on the side. But yeah, the internet hates us.
What Chris is saying is that he doesn't really need us anymore.
I did not say that at all.
He's ready to do it all by himself.
I'm not doing this show by myself. That's a death sentence. This show works because of the... Go ahead.
I say you don't think you can fight off the peanut gallery all by yourself?
I don't think the peanut gallery wants to come see just me ramble each week.
That's probably true.
Oh, it's completely true, and I'm sure the peanut gallery will let us know that going forward. I see SP has noticed how cranky I am in the chat room because all I see is a message that says, Cranky Chris is cranky. Yes, I am, because the internet effed me.
Yeah, and I'd say it's definitely effing because I just heard you go robot voice.
You went robot voice. For me.
No, you went robot voice.
I don't think it's me. My internet's like 105 megs down when I tested this morning before the show.
Oh, it's probably, the actual signal I'm receiving went bad. Because my internet is so crappy.
I see how it is. So it's been a cavalcade of shitty stuff going on. shitty stuff.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh shit, it's SP.
I hear the SP.
Where'd you come from? Me. We can't see you.
I saw the portal popped up there for a second, but yeah, now it's just a black screen.
He stepped through the Stargate to come be on the show.
He stepped through the Stargate and brought a black hole with him that's absorbing all light and his camera.
There we go.
So welcome to episode 189 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, where SP brings the black hole. That's the title of the episode.
Of all things broken and crappy internet.
Yeah. I like that.
There's the SP. Now I can see him.
Good. Yeah, I mistakenly had my Logitech, whatever, software up, and it only goes to one source, right?
Yeah. But welcome to... You probably don't want to talk to us on here this morning, because if you do, some of your technology is now going to fail.
It's just been the way it all week anyway.
The All Things Good Nerdy virus will find you and fuck up your tech.
Yeah, that's about what it comes down to.
Ruin your internet.
We are live now, by the way, right?
Oh yeah, we're totally live. We're just bitching. It's a bitch and stitch session, basically. We're all sitting around in a circle bitching about the internet. This is going to be a real creative show, listeners. Ooh, and Willie's trying to watch on his phone with a sub 4G connection.
Oh, jeez.
Like subterranean 4G? That is so cool, man.
He's like a mutate. He's down under the sewers.
Yeah, like in
internet.
Right, or Sanctuary with Praxis. He's in Praxis. That's so cool. Way to go, Willie.
Way to go, sir. And I see my tablet rebooting behind me now. It's finally out of reboot hell. Damn
Nice.
it, internet.
We better get to the news of the week before the internet dies, Chris.
I was hoping to stave that off until my soundboard was working so I wouldn't have to edit it in. So, that all being said, let's roll in to the news of the week. And this is where the news of the week sound would go with the soundboard. But since there is no soundboard, just pretend you hear live from the ATGN studios on the internet, blah, blah, blah. And here we go with the news.
Kind of.
Kind of. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm Stargate Pioneer. Nice to meet you, sorry.
I hate you all. I'm just going to jump off the show.
Dude, it's happened to all of
You're
us.
not allowed
Don't
to
worry
jump
about it. Like last week it happened to you, but you went over to Blab. It was no big deal. I mean,
I know, right?
you had to back up.
Yeah, but the backup doesn't work on the Chromebook. That's the problem.
Yeah. So yeah, if he wants to hop over to Blab right now, it'd be a solo show. Because I'm the only one that's here, and my fucking Chromebook won't run Blab. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It'll run it, and I can watch them on it, but it will not put my video feed through to it.
This is true. So
Could be a CPU issue.
I see Draftsman has popped in. He goes, "Where's the Naki or the Willie? This is madness. Where are all the people that I can make fun of?"
They're fired. I fired them.
SP has come over in a ruthless corporate takeover and taken over all things good and nerdy because he missed having a Sunday.
The Vince McMahon of Gonna Geek. He just came through firing people.
He missed having a Sunday morning podcast, so he just came and took over. We were the WCW to his WWE, and he just came over and took us.
It's like, come on, guys, just get it right. We should have industry professionals on and producers of network shows, actors and actresses.
Why are industry professionals going to want to come on a show that's centered around dick and fart jokes?
There's lots of reasons. I mean,
and bacon.
And bacon.
Oh, I just had some bacon. Some real good, thick bacon. Oh, it was good.
Phrasing.
No phrasing needed. It was bacon.
Oh, dear Lord. So, I'm just going to go in and do my news story now before I get...
Dick meat.
All right, my news story. Iron Fist, the Netflix series, is not actually canceled like all the rumors had said. In fact, there's even a showrunner associated with it. Scott Buck, who was on 6 Feet Under, Tremors 4, and a producer on Dexter, is going to be the showrunner. And Netflix even put out a brief synopsis of the show, saying, returning to New York City after being missing for years, Daniel Rand fights against the criminal element corrupting New York City with his incredible kung fu mastery and ability to summon the awesome power of the fiery Iron Fist. So the rumors that Iron Fist was canceled, it is not in fact true. Not in fact true. Which is kind of good, because there have been a lot of rumors floating around. Everyone's like, oh, Iron Fist isn't going to happen. Deadpool and Jessica Jones are too successful. They're just going to want to do more of that. If you want to do Defenders, you got to do Iron Fist. I'm just saying. Thoughts?
Yeah, they need him.
Yeah.
Like, so important to play off of Luke Cage. And I read some article somewhere where they were talking about changing Danny Rand's character to Asian so that the apparently the martial arts part would make more sense. The whole point of that character is playing off the fact that Luke Cage and Danny Rand, on paper, there's no reason they should be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like the best friends in the Marvel Universe ever because they don't fit together. So yeah, they need to it's a casting problem and a story problem, but they need to find a Danny Rand. We need Iron Fist in the Defenders.
They needed the Defenders. I know that there was a big controversy over whether the Defenders were actually going to be in the Infinity Wars or not, and whatever. And then there's been, I think Marvel's appetite got a little bit too big, right? And then they're segregating into the Netflix universe, the TV universe, and the MCU. And I'm struggling as to how they're all going to bring it together. Plus, don't forget that Kevin Feige, the guy that was really bringing it all together, and by the way, the words, #itsallconnected.com, try it out sometime, you'll like it. And with Kevin Feige now running the Spider-Man movie with Sony, I mean, Kevin is actually working for two companies in this instance to integrate Spider-Man, and his time is fractured. There's no way. There's no one person. There's no one group which is capable of bringing it all together. So I think in the individual case of the Defenders and Iron Mike, you got to bring him in because you're not going to get everything else in there.
So I'm glad you brought up the point that they said it was complicated to bring in the Netflix heroes. I actually have a news story on that. They were talking with Anthony Russo at the São Paulo, Brazil's Comic-Con, the CCXP. He actually spoke about the potential of crossing over the Netflix heroes. What he had said is, quote, "The films are controlled by a group led by Kevin Feige, so they function as a unit. Other products, even if they are from Marvel, are controlled by others. Then there is the possibility of a crossover, but it's more complicated. Fox holds the rights to some of Marvel's most popular characters, as does Sony and others. As storytellers, we only have control over what happens in the Marvel movies, but everything is possible. Spider-Man became possible, actually. So they've pretty much said it's complicated to try and make the Netflix heroes appear in Infinity War. I kind of would kill to see, like, Daredevil show up or something like that, even if it's just real quick. Real quick.
Well,
but at the same time, when people joke about like Hawkeye and Black Widow being unnecessary Avengers in a fight with Thanos, who's a god, what's Daredevil gonna do?
He's gonna hit him. He's gonna punch him real hard in a hallway in one take.
And he's gonna get hit too.
Yeah.
So Daredevil, I was really expecting to make at least a cameo in Jessica Jones. That didn't happen. Of course, there was reference, a very big reference, but there was no Matt in Jessica Jones, and it was the perfect setup for it too, right? All he had to do was go in and out of a courtroom or be walking by the corporate lawyer deposition rooms in the law firm. I'm trying to remember. It was Jerry, right?
Yeah, Jerry. Oh crap, I forget her name all of a sudden.
That's all that they had to do, and they didn't do it. And I mean, did his contract not include cameos? It should have.
So the way I understood it is their contract for the Netflix shows was pretty inclusive. It basically, for lack of a better term, was we own the rights to put you in anything we want to. Now,
I think it was more the fact that they had the Bendis story locked down for the first year of Alias to introduce the character, and just they had the whole thing written and probably ready to go before Daredevil went as big as it did.
I think that's a big part of it is they already had their script and stuff done, and their idea of how to tie everything together was using Claire's character, the night nurse, to kind of be the connecting tissue between all of the Netflix shows so far. So I wouldn't be shocked to see her appear in Luke Cage now. I wouldn't be shocked to see her appear in Iron Fist, and she'll obviously be in Daredevil Season 2.
Yeah, I think going forward we'll see more crossover. I just think that they already had the script ready and done before Daredevil became the success that it was. And so they didn't try to shoehorn more connectivity into it.
Do you really think they didn't think Daredevil was going to be as big of a success that it was? Because I think they did. They hammed it up. I
think they hoped, but I don't think they really thought it would be fucking just. I mean, because Daredevil was huge. They changed the schedule for how the Netflix shows are going to go because of how well Daredevil did. Like, I don't think anybody at Marvel, they all hoped it would be as big as it was, but I don't think anybody actually thought it would.
Yeah. Well, I tried to snag a Daredevil comic, issue 1 when it came out, and I got there a couple of days late, and all I could get was a variant cover. So there is interest in it now, but I think there was interest in it before. So I don't know. I mean, they do tons of focus groups. It's Disney. What's that?
I mean, Daredevil, the comic had been going. It is on another ascent since the Shadowland storyline. So Daredevil had been doing better, and then the new show definitely brought in a lot more interest for some comic book stores who are actually selling copies of the comic in the new Marvel universe.
Yeah, I think.
Though I haven't read the new one, so.
They probably expected the show to be solid, but I think it defied expectation because it became kind of a pop cultural buzz thing. People are like, oh my god, have you seen Daredevil? And there was a lot more buzz around it than they expected.
Yeah.
And I think they had to capitalize on that, which is in part why Daredevil Season 2 got ramped up so fast. And I think you might see the same thing with Jessica Jones. I don't think it got quite the excitement that Daredevil did. Be that right or wrong, indifferent, who cares? But I think you're going to see more of Jessica Jones coming soon too, because it took off and defied expectation for how good it was going to be. Because honestly, I'm a Marvel fan. I was like, Jessica Jones, that's kind of cool they're doing it, I said, but I don't know if I'm going to care that much. I'm wrong. I finished season 1. I was like, holy crap, this was a really good show, but it was really rough. And not rough like show-wise, but rough on the emotions. You watch that show and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I won't be going back. I mean, okay, full disclosure, I run a Marvel podcast, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We are going to be going over the series. We've already done our initial impressions. We've done our episode 1 last week, and that podcast should be out in a couple of days. But we are going episode by episode, and episode 2 will start on January 6th. After that, I won't go back and watch it. It is really, really rough, and if I had to choose between the two streaming series that came out at that same weekend, Man in the High Castle and Jessica Jones, I will go back and watch Man in the High Castle again, and I will not go back and watch Jessica Jones again. It was good, really good, just it's not entertaining for me. It's not joyful for me. I don't want to go back. It doesn't say, SP, come watch me, you know.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of in the same boat on that. I'll probably rewatch it again at some point, but the girlfriend loved it because she loves David Tennant and liked this creepy, weird, completely different take on a character that David Tennant is playing.
And I compared it to Daredevil, where both shows are fantastic, but the moment I was done with Daredevil, I wanted to start it. I did. I turned right back around and started with episode 1 and started watching it all the way through again. When you get done with Jessica Jones, you're like, fuck, I need a break. That shit is traumatic.
It's the same thing
because of how well it's written. Like, it's just a really tough show, but yeah, it doesn't make you want to jump right back in and rewatch it again.
Look, the guys in Legends podcast nailed it when it came to Hannibal. You can't marathon Hannibal. You need a palate cleanser in there from time to time. I think it's the same thing with Jessica Jones. You can't really marathon it because when you get out, you're going to feel like you got punched in the stomach multiple times, and you're going to feel, I don't have a really great term for it, but kind of a little icky sometimes because just the twisted take it has on the human psyche and things. So,
as I watched the first 11 episodes on Friday. In the middle of the day, I went and saw the last Hunger Games movie. So that was a little palate cleanser in the middle of the day, and then the next morning I watched episodes 12 and 13 to finish it. And then I went and watched the stupid comedy afterwards because I needed something to like let my soul relax.
Hold me.
Yeah, it's a tough show. Yeah,
it's
fantastic, but yeah, it wears on you.
Yeah, Battlefront was my cleanse palette for a while, and then I caught up on Big Bang Theory, which if you haven't caught up on Big Bang Theory, it's got pretty good at the second half right before the mid-season finale.
So I did want to bring up real quick the Draftsman in the
mid-season
chat
finale.
room. Yes, Steven loves that. Draftsman has
Steven's
said
favorite term.
he agrees with me on there was more buzz. I think that's why Jessica Jones got so much play in the media when it came to Daredevil. I think Daredevil made it so people were more excited about a Marvel Netflix series going forward, which is kind of cool.
Well, yeah, and going into Daredevil, it was a giant question mark. Dropping a full season of a Marvel series on Netflix, how's it going to work? And going into Jessica Jones, we know that it can work beautifully, depending on how the show actually plays. So yeah, it was a very different thing going into Jessica Jones than it was going into Daredevil.
The best way to look at it is the Daredevil Netflix series is the Iron Man of the TV universe. It had to set everything up and put things in motion.
Indeed.
And just let's go back to Iron Man. Nobody expected the Iron Man 1 movie to be as good as it was, and look what sparked off of that. You got the entire MCU because people are like, holy crap, this is actually pretty fun. I want to see more of this superhero stuff.
I'd say nobody but Jon Favreau. Favreau had faith. He knew he could do it.
Well, so did Robert Downey Jr., I think.
You mean Foggy?
Yeah. Good old...
Yeah, Foggy. OG Foggy.
OG, there you go.
So what'd you have for us, Anthony, for your news of the week?
I'm actually switching mine up. Mine was going to be Carrie Fisher's comments about the Princess Leia controversy, but I want to save that to Naki's here because we need the female opinion.
Oh, I agree.
So I do have to say it's awesome because I agree with Carrie Fisher. But no, the big casting rumor that I want to talk about is the new frontrunner to play Roland Deschain in the Dark Tower movie series is now motherfucking Idris Elba. And I cannot be more excited.
That broke that broke right before Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Lauren broke before the podcast because of it.
Nice. Yeah, it causes one huge problem that Sean DePascale, the editor on my Geek comic, reminded me of, because there's a huge problem where the character of Susanna and Odetta Holmes, her split personality, is a black woman from the 1920s or 1930s, I believe, and she's racist as shit. And so one of the big things about her character hating Roland Deschain is she calls him honky and just hates him because he's a cracker. And it's a hilarious thing in the story, but it's also very important because she's extremely racist. And so the one big change they would have to make is Odetta Holmes or Susanna, they'll have to change the character, I'm guessing, to make her white. And then she'd have to be racist against black people if Idris Elba gets to play Roland Deschain. Because that character, that split personality, the secondary personality, hating him and being extremely racist is a not a huge part of the story, but it's an important part of her character. And so yeah, that's the one big change they would have to make is that she would have to assume they would have her white and then make her super fucking racist.
I mean, I guess they could do it.
Yeah, but I mean Idris Elba to put a possible seven movie series on one actor. It's a huge thing. And then the other rumor being that they're going after Matthew McConaughey to play the Man in Black, so that it would be basically Matthew McConaughey versus Idris Elba. You goddamn right, I'll pay to see those movies. Like that would be fantastic. And if anybody hasn't seen Luther, then Idris Elba's done a lot of amazing roles, but he plays the gruff kind of old detective in Luther. And literally, all you'd have to do is take the Luther character, put a cowboy hat and some guns on him, and it won't be much of a stretch to turn him into Roland Deschain. Idris Elba could nail that character in a way that I don't think any other actor that I've thought of for the role could really do it. And so I hope they're able to nail him down because that'll make for a fantastic franchise.
So the only thing that bums me out on that, it's great news that happened. It kind of kills the possibility of him being James Bond, because that was something I thought could be really cool, would be Idris Elba doing James Bond going forward. But we all know the Bond movies take a crap ton of time and energy to go into. It's why Daniel Craig wants out so bad, I think, is that it's just a beating to go and do those.
True. But I'll tell you, by comparison, if it's either getting, 4, maybe 5 Idris Elba James Bond movies versus 7 Dark Tower movies with Idris Elba as Roland Deschain, I would much rather have the Dark Tower series. Because, god damn, that dude's good. Have you ever seen him in anything that you didn't like?
Not that I can think of.
I've never seen a TV show, a movie, nothing. If Idris Elba's in it, it is fucking entertaining. The guy just he brings a quality of acting to where he just doesn't do bad work. There's nothing he does that's bad work.
Yeah, I haven't seen everything that he's been in. What is his full IMDb credits?
I mean, it's pretty extensive because he's done a lot of movies, but it's one of those things like they joked about. If you go back and look at The Losers has freaking half the superstars in comic book movies right now are in that, and Idris Elba is one of them.
So let's go through some of his big flicks here. If we go to IMDb, he's known for his Prometheus, Pacific Rim, the Thor movies.
Right.
Other stuff we know, Dark Tower. He's in Star Trek Beyond. He's in The Jungle Book. He's in Luther, the TV series. He was in Avengers: Age of Ultron. We know that. He was in
No
Mandela.
Good Deed, which was a crazy psychological thriller.
Okay, I forgot he was in Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. There's his bad movie.
hey, his character was awesome. He's running around drunk on a moped for half the movie.
Yeah, but that movie
he was great.
There's only one good moped scene in the movies that I ever want to see again, and that's Trancers.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
He was an American Gangster. I forgot about that. 28 Weeks Later. He's done a bunch of stuff. I just don't realize
what did he do in 28 Weeks Later? Was he one of the...
His character was Stone. I can't remember who
I
that
think
is.
he's one of the soldiers.
I believe so.
Okay.
He was in The Wire. That's why a bunch of people are going to love him, too.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows I still need to watch that I haven't.
Yeah, which he is, for those that haven't seen The Wire, there's a main character, and then his right-hand man is Stringer Bell, and it was an awesome character where Idris Elba played a guy who was a gangster in Baltimore, but literally spent his evenings at a community college getting a business degree. And so he was actually helping his buddy who was a drug lord basically be much better at being a drug lord because Idris Elba's character, Stringer Bell, spent all of his time learning how to be a better businessman. And so he's basically taking money that they're getting from selling crack and buying properties in Baltimore. Like, the character was awesome because he was one of those guys where he looked way beyond their little neighborhood and was looking at the big picture of them trying to take over the whole fucking city. Yeah, his Stringer Bell character is awesome.
It's on my list. I think it's on Amazon Prime at this point. I can't 100% remember though.
Nice. Yeah, I watched it when it was all on Netflix, and yeah, it's a great show. And it's one of those ones too where a lot of people, that was their first introduction to Idris Elba, and so the first time that you hear him talk with his normal accent after seeing him on The Wire, it's strange. It was just like the first time you hear House talk. Then
Oh yeah.
you're like, oh fuck. Like, that dude's really got a great American accent. Idris Elba's the same thing. You would have thought he was a black kid that grew up in Baltimore when you watch The Wire, because there's no hint that he's not a guy from that neighborhood when you watch that show. He's fucking fantastic.
I know, I'm always surprised by the foreign actors from Australia or New Zealand or Great Britain or whatever, and they show up like on the couch after Walking Dead on Chris Hardwick's show, or
Yeah.
whatever, Defiance, when I actually talk to the actors and actresses on there. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Why didn't you just go with that? That would have been so
Yeah.
cool.
Andrew Lincoln, it always throws me off to hear
Yeah,
his actual
hearing
voice.
Lincoln rhyme. Yeah, hearing Lincoln rhyme. I'm actually listening through the back catalog of the entire Nerdist podcast because I'm
Yeah.
insane. And I just got to the first episode where Lincoln Rhyme comes on and talks to Chris Hardwick. It's at the end of They were at the end of shooting season 2 of The Walking Dead, so this is like 3 years ago. And to hear him talk in his normal English accent and refer to Rick Grimes in the third person, it totally works because it doesn't sound like Rick Grimes talking. It completely sounds like a different fucking person.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, he sounds nothing like Rick Grimes when he's talking with his normal accent. It's fucking crazy.
It is quite true. So, SP, I know you jumped in here a little late with us just to help us out. What did you have for us news-wise? Do you have something cool for us?
Yeah, I do. I have a couple of cool things. And I'm a sci-fi guy, so, I'm looking at sci-fi mostly, even though I have comic book shows. Yeah, I know, sci-fi. So, in just a couple of days, we're less than a week. What comes on? Star Wars.
Oh my God, Star Wars.
Star Wars.
There's a movie coming out?
Bite
Yeah,
your tongue.
I think everybody has advance tickets that is on this podcast, guest or no. So, first of all, something popped up on my Facebook feed today and this morning, and I was just, if you haven't seen it yet, you've got to see it. It was my son's adorable first-time reaction. And the kid, he's got to be like 4 years old or something. He asked over 268 questions during the whole thing. Now, don't worry. If you watch the video, you're not going to see the entire movie, whatever. It's a 2-minute, 50-second clip. It is just adorable, so just go check it out. It's Star Wars, my son's adorable first-time reaction. But what's really cool is at the end, when they are going after the Death Star and Luke is all alone, he just asks, is he the last one? Is he all alone? And Dad says, yeah. And then it was silence until the Death Star blew up. And he was like, yeah!
And then he was like, this is the best thing I've
That's
ever seen in my whole life. And I was like, oh, kid, you're awesome.
It is worth your
Nice.
time.
And he's what, 4?
Something probably about that, yeah.
2 to 4. I doubt he's 5. Yeah, the kid was just amazing to watch. And then, of course, what trailer are we going to see when we all go see Star Wars? Because we're all going to see Star Wars. So what trailer are we going to see? Star Trek Beyond.
Deadpool.
Well, Deadpool's also on
Oh,
there,
yeah.
supposedly.
Yes, but our first trailer for Star Trek Beyond will be there, which is kind of makes me go, huh? At the same time, and then, okay. Because it is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, so it's sci-fi. So we're not in the age where we're one or the other anymore, unless your name is Suncast. We are in the age of they're both fine. So while the Star Trek movie won't get as much play, probably not as much money, not as much people attending, it is still awesome that the series has been on for 50 years. So.
Well,
So-
yeah, it's because J.J. Abrams turned Star Trek into Star Wars.
Well,
And so
it's
he made it interesting.
it's really why this is happening is because Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams' production company, is still doing Star Trek while J.J. is directing Star Wars. So it's kind of a nice way to connect the two things because, hey, this is another J.J. project, basically. We need to make sure that we help him out. We want him to come back somehow.
And it's Star Trek with Idris Elba. I can't wait to see what he's playing.
Well, that's true, too. So, You
That
brought
guy's
up
awesome.
you brought up Star Wars 7. I had another news story. It's real tiny. I wanted to associate with that is there's been lots of rumors about what a post-credit scene might be for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. One of the rumors was we'd get our first look at Star Wars Rogue One. Well, J.J. Abrams answered some questions, and he said point blank, there is no post-credit scene for Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
That's what I said. I'm staying through the credits when I go to see
Yeah.
it, but right now they are saying there is no credit scene, post-credit scene rather.
The world has too many Marvel fans. Half the theater will empty out. The other half will be stuck there until the lights come on. It splits right in half now.
Well, it depends on how much you want to trust people because I'm not going to go see it until Friday night. So people will have seen it, so I can determine whether I want to brave the internet to figure out whether there is a post-credit scene or not. Probably not, because I will tell you this.
I would avoid the internet.
Starting on Wednesday, hashtag Star Wars will be blocked on all my Twitter clients until I see the movie, and I will not be going to my normal geek and nerd news sites either because I do not trust all the assholes on the internet not to spoil me. And I swear to God, if you spoil me, it's going to be like straight out of a scene from Taken. I will find you, and I will end you.
I will Qui-Gon Jinn come after your
I
ass.
so love his coffee commercial.
So I actually saw a funny internet meme. You do realize the only person to have ever beaten Liam Neeson in a movie is Darth Maul?
Darth Maul?
Yeah. Liam Neeson wins in every other movie, basically.
Wow. But Darth Maul ends in the end, too.
That's
so.
true. Darth Maul, man, there was so much potential for that character, and thank God they brought him back in the Clone Wars cartoon. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to spoil
I'm
for
just
any
to that
further.
part. I just got up to the part where they introduced his brother, Savage Opress.
Yes.
Are you
I
current
have
on
so
Rebels?
much.
I am current on
No.
Rebels. I just got caught up before I recorded this podcast today, and oh my God, I can't wait to see where it goes. And on another positive note, Rebels Season 3 renewed.
Oh!
Oh, it got renewed again?
It got
Nice.
renewed for Season 3, so there is a third season of Rebels coming.
The way they did season 2 was so cool because in the middle of the summer they had that like 2-hour movie or whatever. It seemed like 2 hour. It was awesome. You had James Earl Jones back, you had Vader back, whatever, and you're like, oh, this stuff just got serious. So it's been a fun time. I can't say that I watch it every night that it comes on because I'm podcasting so much, but I do catch up on the weekends. And it's haven't seen it. Go ahead, see it.
It's
great.
my Saturday morning cartoons for me. I record it when it airs, I think Thursday night, and then when I wake up on Saturday
Nice.
morning, when I'm drinking a cup of coffee and eating some toast or whatever, I watch cartoons, and it makes me feel like a child again, and I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah, because we're doing
I've caught
Starling
like
Tribune.
3 episodes so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, that show's fun. I'm trying to finish up the Clone Wars before I get caught up on Rebels.
So I will say Season 2 of Rebels, I enjoyed a lot more than Season 1. Season 1, I watched the first few episodes and I quit on it. And then everyone's like, oh my God, did you see the Season 1 finale? I'm like, no, what happened? And I watched the Season 1 finale. I was like, son of a bitch, I'm watching everything now.
No, it's great. It's an adult. It's a show that adults and kids can watch together. It's kind of fun. But now that the kid is a little bit more capable, it makes it a little bit more actiony, and they don't have so many weepy, sorty stuff. Matter of fact, the Jedi Mountain that came up in the first season, I suspect that we will see it again at some point in time. But yeah, that was an interesting episode or two.
Jedi Mountain, is this a mountain of dead Jedi bodies from Order 66?
No dead bodies, but a lot of other auras.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
So Naki couldn't make it this week. I do have her news story though, which I'll bring up real quick, and that was the fact the X-Men Apocalypse trailer dropped earlier this week.
Yeah, I did.
Indeed.
So I am not a huge mutant fan in the comic book world. I enjoy the movies, but I have to say I'm intrigued, and we get to see James McAvoy finally shave his head.
Yeah, that end shot is freaking cool of a bald McAvoy rocking the suit in the wheelchair, just doing his best, Jean-Luc Picard impersonation. He
welcome
looks
to
cool.
Welcome to the Bald Brotherhood, Mr. McAvoy. Welcome. See right there. Welcome.
He can grow his back.
I can grow mine back too with some super glue.
He's not a permanent member.
I just love how every time I watch those movies, I just love how they've intertwined both the old and the new universe into one universe. It's amazing, and
Well, sort of. They kind of retconned the old universe.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know what intertwining you're talking about. The last movie got rid of all the other movies.
Well, fair enough, but I mean, they at least brought it together, right? It was a continuation of the story. It's the same story all the way through it. They just changed
True.
it. And I think that if you're going to redo it, it's not like, basically, it's not like you're seeing a seventh Spider-Man origin story, right?
God, I hope not.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they did it right.
It
in my
is
opinion.
technically a continuation of the same universe because Days of Future Past took First Class and jumped it forward to where basically all the other movies we kind of jumped past.
So
Now,
The only thing I'm worried about is that with the Horseman thing, you don't care that Angel is Archangel because you don't have that build-up of the character and then his fall and him being turned. If Apocalypse just shows up with his Horseman, like you don't care that they're bad guys.
that's true. So I did want to bring this up. It's something I saw in a YouTube video. I'm subscribed to Mr. Sunday Movies. He does a lot of breakdowns of the trailers and talks about things you might have missed. So I watched his on X-Men Apocalypse, his movie. He goes, yeah, we know there's really no dramatic tension in this movie because we know they're going to win. He goes, how do I know that? Because I saw the floating clocks in X-Men Days of Future Past when Wolverine wakes up in the future. I was like, oh yeah, we already know that in the future everything's fine. They survive Apocalypse. Damn it!
it could all be retconned.
Oh, wait,
same way.
Is Apocalypse happening? Because I thought that is that Wolverine, was he waking up all the way in the future at the same time as Days of Future Past?
Wolverine woke up in the future with Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier
right.
at that point. And so we go back in Apocalypse, and we have young James McAvoy, which happens between the 70s and present day. From what I've heard, X-Men Apocalypse occurs in the 80s, timeline-wise. So we know they have to win.
That kind of...
Now, I'm nitpicking.
We know
I'm
Professor
nitpicking
Xavier
like
has to live. Yeah, we don't know anything else. I'm just happy they fixed Apocalypse's fucking face so he doesn't look like Victor Ooze anymore.
We know that they make it through
Ivan Ooze.
the first time. We don't know that they make it through the second time.
We shall see.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true, yeah. It's X-Men timelines. You can redo anything you want at any point.
Now, why Fox got X-Men right in fixing it, and they got Fantastic Four so horribly wrong, I don't get it.
Two words. Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
Bryan Singer gets the X-Men. Look at he did the first two X-Men movies. They were really good. X3 happened. You bring in Brett Ratner. It's a steaming pile of crap. It took, was it Matthew K. Vaughn who saved everything with X-Men First Class and started everything back on track, and nobody expected that to be good. I'm one of them. I said, I don't care about this. The X-Men franchise is dead. I ate those words. First Class, really good movie. And then Bryan Singer revitalizes and undoes everything that was messed up with Days of Future Past. So honestly, I think it's Bryan Singer. He gets it. He loved Superman, but he did it the wrong way for Superman Returns. But he understands the X-Men.
See, I was going to say 2 words. Movie executives.
Yeah, well, there's that too. All I can say, though, is
Go watch Chronicle.
Keep Bryan Singer on these X-Men movies because it keeps him away from that Battlestar Galactica reboot he wants to do. Just keep doing X-Men movies. Stay away from my Battlestar.
I have to be a dissenter on Chronicle. It was too teen angsty for me. Just could not get into it. Maybe I'm too old. Honestly, maybe I'm too old. But I don't like that movie. I saw it once and I won't watch it again.
And we know Wing loves that movie. You say the word Chronicle, and he's like, "Oh my god!" in a French accent.
I love it, and it's a fantastic superhero, non-superhero movie. But if you watch that and seeing what he did as a director on that, and then go listen to the Fat Man on Batman episodes that Josh Trank did with Kevin Smith while they were talking about the movie leading up to it before the release, I believe the movie he had ready, the one that he complained about on Twitter that basically got him fired off Star Wars, I think the movie he made was way different than what Fox ended up putting out.
It depends on what series of rumors you believe and all that stuff. I mean, I don't think we're ever truly going to know what all went wrong with that movie.
Well, no, because I don't think Fox is ever going to release a director's cut of the Fan 4-Stick, so...
No. Not at all.
No.
So that'll wrap up the news of the week. And we are going to do a little bit of a shorter show this week. But before we do start wrapping the show up, don't forget, everyone, All Things Good and Nerdy is a part of the Gonna Geek Network. You can find all sorts of other cool podcasts over at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. But I wanted to highlight one of these shows on the network this week, specifically episode 127 of the Unqualified Gamers podcast. The title of this episode, John Sells All His Physical Video Games, Ending Unqualified Gamers Forever. That's right, John sold his entire collection of physical video games and consoles. You'll find out why his wife's upset with the decision. And then John and Cody's significant others join them with some surprising perspectives on collecting things and the emotional value of physical objects. Tune in for the final episode of Unqualified Gamers before Cody and John move on to their next podcasting venture, Game Life Balance US. So it is the final episode of Unqualified Gamers. Do not worry. They'll be back in January with their new show, Game Life Balance US, which will replace Unqualified Gamers on the Gonna Geek Network. Mm-hmm. Cody and John are going nowhere. They will still be here.
Yeah, we got the official word this week. The Game Life Balance US will be on the Gonna Geek Network.
Yes, and it's a very interesting story how they got around to becoming Game Life Balance US. I would strongly encourage you to go check out episode 127 of Unqualified Gamers over at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Hashtag
rebranding with a new number 1.
Hashtag video games for Casey.
Yes. When you listen to the episode, you'll understand that one. I do really I'm going to miss the Unqualified Gamers. I'm very curious to see how it's changed up with this new flavor.
They've already kind of started doing it. And they thought they went over the bounds of where the limits were for all unqualified gamers, so they want to get beyond that. And they've got some great stuff going on, and they have the unqualified brand locked up. So this is all good. They're getting older, they're growing in life. This will be good.
I really did enjoy when they were doing YouTube videos of the unqualified experts. That was also fun.
That was hilarious. It was literally hilarious.
But in honor of those guys, I want to talk one video game story before we start getting out of here. I don't know if you guys had heard, Final Fantasy VII was coming back on the PS4. They're remaking the classic from the PlayStation. Yeah, here's the problem. It's going to be a multi-part series. You're going to have to download separate installments of Final Fantasy VII so they can get more money out of you.
I haven't finished.
They'll get it. That game has a lot of fans.
It's true.
I started playing the Final Fantasy series from the first game, I guess, just Final Fantasy, right, on my mobile phone, 4S at the time. Mm-hmm. And I got through 3, and I was in the middle of 4, and then I just kind of ran out of time to be able to use it when I was using it, so I haven't done that yet. So I'm not to 7 yet, so I'm all good.
Final Fantasy IV is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games of all time. Final Fantasy VII, I have not actually finished playing through all the way, I'll be honest, but I love Final Fantasy VIII. But I think that's just because it was my first experience with the Final Fantasy series, and you always remember your first.
That's true.
But yeah, so that'll be coming on PS4, I want to say around the beginning of the new year. I cannot honestly remember, but if you haven't seen it, they've showed the trailers for what they've been doing to remake the game. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous, so if you're a Final Fantasy VII fan and have a PS4, it might be worth checking out the first installment of the remake and see if you enjoy it. You should, because it's pretty much just new graphics.
I might actually...
The trailer and the gameplay looks really cool.
Yeah. I might actually have finished all of my training missions on Battlefront by that time. Can move on to something else.
So I almost bought Battlefront when they were doing the 12 days of discounts with Microsoft's 12 days of deals or whatever. I'm kind of glad I didn't. I'll get into that as we wrap up the show, why. But I think we are going to start wrapping things up because the internet hates me today, and I want to make sure we get everything in here that we should.
Let's do it.
As we start wrapping things... Yeah, it does. It really does. So as we wrap up the show, the tradition on All Things Good and Nerdy is basically we go into a bit we call What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with the audience what geeky things we've been watching, reading, playing. We're trying to convert you to become one of us. One of us. So, exactly. So I'm going to start with our guest, SP. What have you been getting into? What are you planning on getting into?
Well, it's kind of funny that you said one of us because I am waiting for my Blu-ray Spartacus pack to come in that I got on Black Friday for what was it, $25 for the entire Spartacus series. So I'm still waiting. It was back ordered that day. They knew it, and they said, "Look, we'll get it to you hopefully by Christmas, but here's It started out at 40, and then it wasn't available. They said, let's go to 25. So I was like, yes! So I took it.
Nice.
So I have never watched Spartacus before, and I downloaded some episodes from it's either iTunes or Amazon Prime. I can't remember which one, because they all get together at some point in time.
It blurs together. I get it, man.
Yeah, and I was watching it, and I got through episode 4, I think, and that's all the farther I've got before Jessica Jones and Man in the High Castle came out. So I have to finish Man in the High Castle. I'm going to do that. But also, let's go back to last week. There were 4 amazing comic book finales last week. Supergirl, Flash, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. There, I did it. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Arrow. And it was just a fun week to be a comic book TV show fan. So that was awesome. If you haven't picked them up yet, go ahead, watch them. They're on video on demand, I'm sure, and that would be great. So this next week, what I have coming up, Star Wars. And then I leave for
Are you taking a day off of work, SP?
No, I have burned through a lot of vacation this year, so I am going to go at night. Hopefully with some family members. We'll see. There's scheduling issues, so I might actually have to get tickets to another episode. I don't know. And around here, there are some immediate shows that are sold out, but the rest of them aren't sold out yet. I should check again today, and they will be sold out soon. They will.
Oh, no doubt.
So I think I've got enough time to see it once before I leave on vacation, and then we'll probably see it again on vacation. I'll probably catch it again after I come back. So it'll be interspersed, and I won't watch it over and over again like I know a lot of my friends are. And I'll be jealous, but it's the way it is.
That's pretty much what I'm planning on getting into on Friday. Friday, my vacation starts because I have a bunch of use it or lose it leave at work. So if I don't go on vacation Friday, I don't get all my leave for the year. So I'm basically taking off the 18th through January 4th. I will not be going to work. So that's how I'll be getting caught up on things like Supergirl that I have only watched the first 2 episodes on, Man in the High Castle, and I'll probably rewatch some other stuff while I'm cleaning my house because Netflix is great for that. But as for things I've been getting into, I started playing Rise of the Tomb Raider yesterday on my Xbox One. Pretty fun game so far. I'm literally only like an hour and a half, 2 hours into it, but it's been fun. It's Uncharted on the Xbox, basically.
I saw it on sale for like $25, like on one of the Slick Deals things. I should have picked it up. You're saying it's really good?
I've really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the first one, and it was actually one of the games with gold probably 2 or 3 months back, so you could have gotten it for free to play the first one. And other than a glitch that made me rage quit it, I really enjoyed the first Tomb Raider game from this reboot. And the second one that I'm playing now has been really fun, but again, I'm maybe 2 hours into it. I've only just now begun to unlock a bunch of stuff in it, so I would recommend it. I keep seeing it go on sale for anywhere between $40 to $45 right now on Slick Deals. Same with Fallout 4, if that's your bag. It's not mine, so I haven't bought it yet. Mostly because I know if I play Fallout 4, I will do nothing else on my vacation. It's self-preservation. Seriously, self-preservation. So other stuff I've been getting into. Star Wars Rebels. I just got caught up. I'd been 2 episodes behind, finished that before this. And then due to some people showing me good deals on the internet, I was able to upgrade my podcasting rig somewhat, and I'll talk more about that next episode because I should have all of my equipment in place for the next episode. So, Anthony, what have you been getting into?
Finally finished season 3 of Clone Wars because I'm way behind. Hopefully sometime soon. And then read a couple comics, but I'll go over some of that stuff next week. Caught up on all the finales other than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Supergirl, Flash, Arrow were all awesome. Flash especially, they just keep introducing speedsters, man. We're this close to having the entire Speed family on that show, and I fucking love it. Yeah, PS4. I'm mad because I missed the Black Friday deal. I got the alert that Until Dawn was on sale, and by the time I clicked it on my phone, they were sold out. I missed it, but I believe my roommate picked it up for me for Christmas, so I'm still gonna get it.
Nice.
Then I got what Christmas shopping I'm doing pretty much already done. Picked up some trade paperbacks for the fiance. I got his son his own PS4 controller, So it'll be cool for him to have his own when he plays with his dad. He's actually getting pretty good at Battlefront. He can play through. He's 6, and he can play through the intro scene with Darth Vader fighting the rebels, and he can make it through that on his own now without dying. So he's stoked that he can play that game with us. And then playing a lot of Battlefront. I got up to level 19, I think, the other night, enjoying the Battle of Jakku, the new content that they finally downloaded. My slow ass internet connection finally let me download all the games I got on Black Friday too. So been playing a little bit of Evolve, some Diablo 3, and Evolve is great. Asymmetrical 4 versus 1 first-person shooter where you're either 1-4 hunters or you get to play the monster that they're hunting. It is a fun game. That one is one that I'm pretty sure once I get a little bored of Battlefront, I think Evolve is going to be the one I'll be spending most of my free time with. But yeah, it's a fun game.
I've played Evolve. It was free on Games with Gold at one point in time. It was a free weekend rather. So I played some multiplayer.
Nice.
It was interesting, but at the end of it I was like, yeah, I'm not paying money for this one. I'll play the free demo and I'm good.
Well,
I'm glad you enjoy
getting
it.
the whole digital bundle with all the DLC for I think $22 during that sale, like you can't beat it.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. That is not bad at all.
Nope.
But that being said, I think that's going to wrap us up for this week. That's what we've been getting into. If you had stuff in the chat room you're getting into, feel free to let us know. I'll make sure I read it on the air as I do my whole long outro speech. So don't forget you can find the show. Go ahead, SP.
I have a question for your listener. Okay, so a bunch of people are going to see Star Wars. What are the rules of engagement for the podcast next week for Star Wars?
So we will follow our traditional rules. The first weekend a movie is out, there are no spoilers and all things good and nerdy. We will do a spoiler-free talk. Basically, it'll come down to, did you like it or did you hate it? And get into why without giving anything away. The week after we might be off that next weekend. We haven't discussed it yet. But the next episode we have after Star Wars opening weekend, we will go full spoilers on.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we
it could
talk
possibly
everything. Oh yeah,
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I forgot that. I'm not getting into it yet, but I took Friday off from work, so I'll be going and seeing Star Wars. I think at 11:30 in the morning.
Nice.
Yeah, fucking took a vacation day.
I'm
going to go see that thing early.
I have tickets for the 8 p.m. showing of Star Wars that the girlfriend got for us, which surprised me because she wasn't excited about going for opening night or opening period. And I was like, well, I'll just go on Saturday then when I get up. And she was like, no, we got tickets for Friday. And I was like, ching.
It has
Nice.
literally affected the entire Gonna Geek Network podcasting schedule, by the way.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it one bit.
I don't. Here in our valley, in the Boise area, tickets have been sold out for over a month. There is not a showing available during that first weekend at any of our theaters. They've all been sold out for over a month. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I don't doubt it, man. It's the power of Star Wars. It's going to break tons of records. The only problem is going to be, and I'm going to blaspheme potentially, what if it's bad?
Oh.
That's what I'm worried about. I don't think
If
that
it's
it will
bad,
be.
we already know. Frickin' Jar Jar Abrams for the rest of his life. He
Well,
will be fucking Jar Jar Abrams.
okay, so why I don't think it's going to be a flop is because Disney has tested the crap out of this, right? It's the final movie is out. They've shown it, and people have liked it or not liked it. So I think the majority of people have liked it. Otherwise, we would have heard about it by now.
I agree. I don't.
Plus, come
I'm
on,
not,
George Lucas had almost nothing to do with this one, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm not super concerned it's going to suck, but I always like to plan for the worst, hope for the best. So what if it sucks?
It does have a lot of hype to live up to.
Yeah,
This might be the biggest hype train ever.
because everyone's on the hype train right now.
I don't think that they've actually done the hype. I think everyone else has done the hype.
That's what's been interesting is they've put the stuff out there, and then everyone else has hyped it to infinity and beyond, to crib a phrase from one of their other Disney movies.
There you go. But usually that's the good thing. It's when the fans are doing the hype and not the company.
That's true.
Because I think with Episode 1, I think it was Lucasfilm was doing the hype.
That's true. So, listener, by the time you hear our next podcast, you'll have seen Star Wars. Just keep that in your back pocket. That's how close we are to Star Wars Episode VII. Yeah, that's how we
Or
wrap
you
it up.
better have, or we're taking your card.
Or we'll take your geek card. So don't forget, you can find the show over at atgnpodcast.com. That's where our entire back catalog is, linked to the show notes, linked to all the music that we use in our bumps. You can find it all there. You can get a hold of us on Twitter at ATGN Podcast or on Facebook at facebook.com/allthingsgoodandnerdy. If you want to send us an email, that's also doable. Send that to atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com. And best of all, the best way to get in touch with us and leave your feedback, give us a call on the ATGN hotline. That's at 304-806-ATGN. Don't forget that we stream live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern over at live.atgnpodcast.com, geeks.live, and on Channel 3 of the Alpha Geek radio site. Basically, it is our goal to be everywhere on the internet so you can consume our fine podcast. A quick reminder as we get out of here, the next live show you can catch on geeks.live is the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. That will be Monday night at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And generally that ends up sliding a little closer to 9 because technology hates us.
We'll be doing it a little bit differently this week too. So
that's also true. So it'll be a fun time to check out the official GonnaGeek.com podcast if you haven't before. But I think that's going to wrap us up. SP, Anthony, you guys got any final thoughts for us as we wrap up?
Thanks for having me
Force
on.
Awakens.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you for joining and bailing us out at the last minute, SP. It is much appreciated. To you, our listener, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. And if I had my soundboard, this is where you'd hear the outro music having already started. I'm still cranky. Bye, guys.
Bye.